Hey there, I'm Jake, just your average 15-year-old boy. Except for one thing, I've been in love with the same girl since kindergarten. Yeah, that long. Her name's Lily. She's got these sparkling blue eyes that remind me of the ocean, and a laugh that could make even the grumpiest person smile. That's right, Uncle Scrooge, put a smile on that face. But enough about her. Let's get to the real story. One day, Lily's dad just up and left. No note, no goodbye, nothing. Just Lily, her two younger sisters, and an empty house. Lily was devastated, but she put on a brave face for her sisters. She was only 15, but overnight, she became a mom, a dad, everything. One day she came to me, tears streaming down her face. Jake, I need your help. And of course, I said yes. I mean, who could say no to those ocean blue eyes? So there I was, a 15-year-old boy trying to be a dad. It was like playing house, but for real. I'd go to school during the day, then head over to Lily's to help with homework, cook dinner, and tuck the girls into bed. It was exhausting, but every time I saw Lily's grateful smile, it was worth it. We had our share of disasters, like the time I tried to make spaghetti and ended up turning the kitchen into a war zone. Or the time Lily's youngest sister, Bella, decided to give the dog a haircut. But we also had our moments of triumph, like when we managed to fix the leaky faucet all by ourselves, or when Bella finally learned to tie her shoelaces. But just when I thought we had everything under control, my parents found out. They were furious. "You can't be playing house with Lily and her sisters," my mom said. But I wasn't playing. This was real life. And I was determined to help Lily, no matter what. So that's the crazy start of my journey. But trust me, it gets even crazier. So make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on, because you won't want to miss what happens next. Alright, where were we? Ah yes, my parents had just found out about my double life. They were furious, but I was determined to help Lily and her sisters. So I did what any reasonable 15-year-old would do. I argued with my parents. "You don't understand, Mom! Lily needs me!" I said, my voice echoing in our living room. "Jake, you're just a kid. You can't be responsible for an entire family," my mom replied, her voice filled with concern. But I wasn't backing down. "I may be a kid, but I can help. I have to help," I said, my voice firm. After what felt like hours of arguing, my parents finally agreed to let me continue helping Lily, but under one condition. I had to keep up with my schoolwork. So my double life continued. School during the day, playing dad in the evening. It was exhausting, but every time I saw Lily smile, it was so worth it. One day, while I was helping Lily's middle sister Emma with her math homework, Lily pulled me aside. "Jake, I don't know how to thank you," she said, her ocean blue eyes welling up with tears. "Lily, you don't have to thank me. I'm just doing what any friend would do," I replied, my heart pounding in my chest. But before I could say anything else, Lily did something I never expected. She kissed me. It was a brief, sweet kiss, but it was enough to make my heart race. "Jake, she began, but was interrupted by Bella's loud cry. "Jake, Emma's eating crayons!" Bella wailed, pulling us back to reality. And just like that, our moment was over. But something had changed. Lily had kissed me. So there I was, juggling school, my double life, and now my feelings for Lily. It was like I was in a circus, juggling flaming torches. But hey, at least it wasn't boring. One day, while I was at school, I received a call from Lily. "Jake, I need your help. The landlord is here and he's threatening to kick us out," she said, her voice trembling. I rushed over to Lily's house, my heart pounding in my chest. The landlord was a gruff man with a belly that shook like a bowl full of jelly.
"You're months behind on rent. If you don't pay up by the end of the week, you're out,"
he bellowed, his voice echoing in the small apartment. I could say something about the tension in the air being palpable, but that one guy might comment something. So I'll just say the tension was high. "Lily, don't worry. I'll figure something out," I said, trying to sound more confident than I felt. And figure something out I did. I took up a part-time job at a local diner, working late into the night. It was exhausting, but every time I handed my paycheck over to Lily, again, it was so worth it to see those eyes. But just when I thought things were starting to look up, I received a call from my school. "Jake, your grades are slipping. If you don't improve, you might have to repeat the year," my teacher said, her voice stern. I was at a crossroads. I could either focus on school and risk Lily and her sisters getting evicted, or I could continue working and risk failing the year. It was like I was stuck between a rock and a hard place. But before I could make a decision, Lily pulled me aside. "Jake, I can't let you do this. You're sacrificing your future for us," she said, her eyes filled with tears. Lily, I can't just stand by and do nothing, I replied, my voice firm. Jake, there has to be another way, she said, her voice barely a whisper. And just like that, we were back to square one. I was way over my head in this situation. I had lost hope until overhearing about this local talent competition. The prize? A scholarship grant that could cover Lily's rent for a year. I knew what I had to do. I signed up for the competition, deciding to showcase my hidden talent, playing the guitar. I had been strumming tunes in my spare time, a hobby I picked up to distress from all the responsibilities. The days leading up to the competition were a whirlwind. I was practicing day and night, my fingers dancing on the strings. I was determined to win, not for me, but for Lily and her sisters. On the day of the competition, I was a bundle of nerves. The stage was huge, the lights blinding. But when I saw Lily and her sisters in the audience, their faces full of hope, I knew I couldn't back down.
And now, please welcome to the stage, Jake!
The announcer's voice boomed. I walked onto the stage, so nervous. I took a deep breath and just started playing. The melody filled the room, my fingers moving effortlessly on the strings. The audience was silent, their eyes glued to me. And then, just as I was about to finish my act, disaster struck. A string on my guitar snapped. I watched in horror as it flew into the audience. But before I could apologize, the audience erupted in applause.
Bravo!
A woman shouted from the crowd.
That was the most heartfelt performance of the night!
I stood there, stunned, as the cheers washed over me. I had done it. I had won the competition. But just when I thought things couldn't get any better, the woman who had shouted bravo came up to me. Son, that was a fantastic performance. I run a music school and I think you'd make a great teacher. It's a part-time job. Would you be interested? She asked, a hopeful look in her eyes. And just like that, I'd not only solved our money problem, but I'd also found a way to juggle school and work. Life was going well, until one day, the secret was out. It started with whispers at school, then pointed fingers, and before we knew it, our story was talk of the town. And then the unthinkable happened. Child Protective Services showed up at our front door.
We've received a report about your living situation. We need to conduct an investigation,
the officer said. I felt like the ground was slipping under my feet. We were about to lose everything, but I wasn't going down without a fight. I decided to go on a live broadcast to tell our story to the world. I was nervous, my hands shaking as I faced the camera. But when I thought about Lily and her sisters, I knew I had to be strong. Good evening, everyone, I began, my voice echoing in the silent studio. My name is Jake, and I'm here to tell you a story about family, about love, and about the lengths we go to protect the ones we care about. I paused, looking directly into the camera. It's also a story about sacrifice, about stepping up and taking responsibilities that were never meant to be yours, but to accept them anyway because you care. Because you can't stand by and do nothing when the people you love are in trouble. I could feel the intensity of the silent studio, the crew members hanging on to each and every word I'd spoke. At the tender age of 15, I found myself in a role that I was hardly prepared for. I became a father figure to 3 girls who had been abandoned by their own. I was just a kid myself, but I knew I had to protect them, provide for them. My voice grew stronger, more confident as I continued. We faced challenges. Oh, did we face them? From figuring out how to pay the bills, to dealing with the judgmental whispers at school, to the sleepless nights worrying about what the next day would bring. But through it all, we stuck together. We became our own little family, bound not by blood, but by our shared experiences, by resilience, by love. Tonight I stand before you not as a victim, but as a testament to the power of perseverance, of community, and of unconditional love. Our story is proof that family isn't always about DNA. Sometimes it's about finding the people who accept you, who stand by you, and who fight for you, no matter what. So here's to all the unconventional families out there, to the people who step up when others step down, to the heroes who are born out of necessity. This is for you. The response was overwhelming. Messages of support poured in. A GoFundMe page was set up to help us. The community rallied around us, their kindness and generosity bringing tears to our eyes. But just when I thought things couldn't get any more dramatic, Lily's dad showed up. He had seen the broadcast and decided to come back. "What are you doing here?" I asked, my voice shaking with anger. I came to take my daughters back," he stammered, looking around nervously. "You lost that right when you abandoned them," I shot back. The crowd that had gathered around us erupted in agreement. They shamed him, told him he had no right to come back after abandoning his family. He left, and this time, I knew he wouldn't be back. In the end, we were allowed to stay together. An elderly woman from our neighborhood, Mrs. Jenkins, offered to legally adopt the girls, so the authorities would leave us alone. We were more than happy to accept. And so, our story concludes, not with a sad ending, but with a new beginning. A beginning filled with hope, love, and a community that turned into a family.